Artists come and go, but there are some that always come back to mind. And today's artist is Four Bats. Nico Bennett, out of Dallas, he didn't come with a loud rollout. He just showed up. And that's what made a hit. That wispy tenor and those emotional lyrics sound like 2 a.m. thoughts you just can't shake. His sound is simple but powerful. A gentle 90s inspired R&B with a modern edge. Soft chords, space in the mix, and melodies that linger. Then, Act 2, Did I 8 goes viral. TikTok grabs it, and suddenly, the whole industry is watching. Drake shows love, Ye gets mentioned, and it all leads down to OVO. Some artists chase the moment. Four Bats sound like the moment found him. Let's get into it. Now, when it comes to this style of R&B, the primary thing that you want to focus on is having 90s style aesthetics, right? And what I mean by that is by having real instruments in there. Real instruments, and some examples could be Rhodes, guitars, pianos, live basses, and strings, right? So the first sound that I chose was this. And with this, it's a E piano, right? And it's the D50 E piano from Roland Super JV synth. And without any effects, it sounds like this. And with effects, it sounds like this. Now, for the effects that I have on here is EQ. I cut out the lows because it was very low ended, right? If y'all hear it, it's very low ended. And because I would add a bass as well, I didn't want it to clash. So I cut out a lot of the lows. Now I have a sketch cassette to make it sound tapey. And the preset that I'm using is the high school mixtape. And I have a Valhalla vintage verb to give it some room and add some reverb in there. Next are these strings. And this is the string name, and it's from Roland SRX strings. The name is Vibrato SW. Now, what I have on here is a pancake, panning from left to right, and I have it on the left to right shy preset, right? And the reason why I have it on left to right shy preset instead of just having it on left to right is because when you put it on left to right or use any other basic panning presets, it takes it away from the middle, right? And you don't want that because I still want the aspect of having sound flow through the middle without it sounding empty, right? So with it all the way panning all the way to the left and right, it sounds like this. As I can hear, it leaves the middle for a brief second. And sure, depending on what you want, that might sound good. I mean, it sounds good. It's just a personal preference type thing, if you get what I'm saying. I personally just use it for the movement because it sounds perfect and it sounds nice. Now, the next thing I have on here is a Valhalla vintage verb. And that's all. Next instrument is this. I got this bell from Analog Lab. From the 90s R&B's Essentials, and it's called Celeste. Now, the effects that I have on here is a tremolator, a cassette, and a Valhalla vintage verb. Next instrument is another layer I got from Triton using the pattern of the first lead, and it sounds like this. Now the name of this lead is called a lead load, and what I have on here is a Fab Filter Pro Q4. I put it on the piano soft for mix preset. I just wanted to cut out a lot of the highs and have it a little softer, because without it, it sounds like this. And without any effects, it sounds like this. And I don't like that in particular because it sounds a little too harsh for my liking. And now I have a Valhalla Vintage variable on here as well to give it some room, as well as another EQ to just cut it out entirely. Next are these another roads, but these ones are higher, right? And they have a lot. Next is another roads, and these ones are higher, and they are a lot brighter as well. And these roads are from the Lounge Lizard EP4, and they are the Warm Model V roads. Now they sound like this. Now what I have on here is a reverb, and I'm using the UAD Lexicon reverb, and I'm using the acoustic solo chamber preset. And I also have a pancake on here, left to right shy preset. Now the next instrument that I have is the bass. Now I don't have any effects on it, but what I basically did with the bass, I just followed the root notes that were being played. And so now what I do with the bass, I just follow the root notes that are being played inside of the regular patterns. Next are these vocals that I got from Splice. I just chopped them up. They sound like this. Now what I have on here is a Fruity Delay 2, a Fruity Chorus. I lowered the mix in FL, and a Valhalla Vintage Verb. I also lowered the mix in the mixer track, as well as a Fruity Compressor. Now I also have an EQ on here to cut out the highs and lows. Now the reason why I cut out the highs is because I didn't want it to be sounding too bright, because I want to have space for the vocals as well, because these loops, you want to leave a lot of space in them, right? So you don't want it to make it overcomplicated by adding a lot of different elements. That's why most of my layers, as you can see, are just layers, and that's practically all I did. Now time for the effects and the stuff that makes the melody sound complete. First, I used the wave, which is just some like ocean sounds and some waves moving. All I did was lower the volume, and that's all. I also have some chimes. And this is from, like, y'all know the dream chaser things that are on doors when you open a door somewhere? And that's practically what it is. Now I have these sort of jazzy type things that I found in Reggie's kit, and this is how they sound. And with those, all I did was lower the volume. I don't even have them routed. Now, something special that I like using on these type of melodies, the 90s R&B melodies or melodies that contain real instruments, is this right here. And it just adds some texture to it, right? Because I didn't add that much elements in here. It's practically all layers, as you can see. So I wanted it to sound complete, and by sounding it complete, I just added these effects to drag it on to the next part without it sounding repetitive or boring. Now I also added a perk loop to make it sound more 90ish, and it sounds like this. Now, without any effects, it sounds like this. Now, with my effects, I have a Fruity Delay 3, lowered the mix. For the reverb too, I also lowered the mix to a very minuscule amount, 6%. And I also have a Fruity Panomatic to pan it left to right crazily. But I also lowered the mix so that it wasn't too crazy. And I also have a Fruity Flanger, sorry, to add some character to it so that it can sound more chorusy, and as well as a Fruity Filter to cut out some of the highs and turn down the cutoff frequencies. Now that's all for this melody. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. And when it comes to these melodies, I hope you guys know that simple is best. Don't overcomplicate it. And using real instruments like Rhodes, especially Rhodes. Most of his songs have some type of Rhodes in them. So using Rhodes, pianos, live basses, or you can use synths too, but primarily focus on the live basses aspect and the real instrument aspect, because that's where the sauce comes from and that's where the smooth sounding instruments and characteristic of his sound come from. But yeah, that's all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I love and I appreciate y'all. Deuces.